In anticipation of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I've decided to watch all of the Indiana Jones movies for the first time ever. I thought that the first movie was okay. I thought it was good. Didn't love it. But is this one better? Is this a step up? Did I finally love an Indiana Jones film? Well, let's start with the good. First, I got to say that the action in this film is way better in this movie than Raiders of the Lost Ark. While I really like the action in the first film, they stepped it up here with a lot more and also better choreographed, inventive, and it's just really, really fun and thrilling. Gritty, violent, grotesque, but also kind of funny and goofy. And it's a really nice balance going to like the dark moments and the funnier, stumbling moments. Starting with the opening action sequence, Indy is trying to sell this ashes to what looks like to be the Yakuza, tricking him and poison him. And that whole sequence of him trying to get the poison and Willie trying to get the diamond and all the chaos and everything that was happening between and get kicked back and forth was really, really fun, goofy, but also really like, oh my God, is Indy going to get it? Obviously he is, because, we know he doesn't die, but it was just really fun. I was really immersed in the moment, and everything from there, going through the window, falling into the car, and then the introduction of Short Round. I thought all that stuff was a really good first 20 minutes of this film. And I loved how it flowed from action sequence to new characters. So that one introduced Short Round, which was probably my favorite character in the movie, is the introduction to Ke Quan Han, and I'm a big fan of him after watching him in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a movie that I love. So it was great to see his feature debut, and he was such a great character. Funny, adorable, resourceful, and a hero in himself. He kind of saved the day, and he feels like he's the only person that Indy actually likes. I feel like most of the time Indy kind of just deals with you because you help him. He seems like he actually likes Short Round. So I really like their relationship, and their chemistry really held the film up. And from there, we lead to the plane abandonment and crash, where the people who were riding the plane were actually working for the Yakuza people, and they jump out the plane and leave them there. And that is so ridiculous. It's so insane. It's so goofy, but it was so thrilling and fun with them sliding down off that boat and landing in India, of all places. That whole sequence was really put together really well. You could barely tell if it was CGI, and it felt very practical. And that's a big ups for this movie. All the practical effects so far from the first film and this film are used really well, and I wish more films in the modern day did. And after we get to the jux of the story, the Indian natives there are suffering because someone takes a sacred stone from their village, and even though Indy doesn't really believe in that stuff, he does want to discover it because it's something that he's been researching for a long time, and he decides to go into the jungles of India to try to retrieve it. And he goes and sees these monarchs who are very fishy. And from there, we get some really cool moments and funny moments of them showing the food. There's a lot of stereotypes and a little bit of racism, but I know this is a movie of its time, so I'm not going to ding it for it. But what was really interesting is when they finally start getting into the temple, the trap that happens, that was so gross. And I was like, I don't feel bad. I felt bad for Willie because for me personally, I wouldn't be able to do it. They would have died. I was no way I was going to be able to touch all those bugs. I would have passed out and died myself. In the last 30 to 45 minutes, all that action that happened was some of the best live action set pieces I've seen in a long time outside of a Mission Impossible film. I really wish that we had more action movies that were like as innovative, as fun, as thrilling, as dark as this all was in that matter of time. Indy getting taken over by the evil spirits, almost dropping Willie into that tank of fire and sacrificing her, Short Round escaping and inspiring all the children to help. All that together, but highlighted by the minecart sequence. That was so fun. So dope. I loved it so much. It was so crazy. And then going into the water rushing and then the bridge sequence, all that stuff was really, really great. And I was really, really surprised by the darker themes that this film had comparing to the first one in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and how, these people in this cult basically are stealing these kids, having them put to work and sacrificing adults to their god so they can gain some favor from their god. And I thought that was really interesting, and it really pleasantly surprised me that they added that to this film, and it balanced the goofy, fun moments with these darker, scarier parts that I probably wouldn't want to show a kid at all because of how dark it is. But I really, really enjoyed that, even though it's steeped, whatever the word is, in stereotypes and stigmas and stuff like that, and stuff that's not true. It's still fun, and it's a movie of its time. It came out 84, I believe, so I get it. And I really enjoyed that this wasn't a total white savior movie. You know, Indy coming in, being the white guy. The Indians were not able to do things on their own. They were able in the end to be assisted and help with stopping the bad guys. So I really enjoyed that they did that, because a lot of movies would have just made Indy the complete hero and he did everything by himself, but it was a complete group effort. So I really, really enjoyed those last 30 minutes and that how they ended the film. Now let's get into the bad. So in Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of my main issues was Marion. I thought that she was a very annoying character. She got on my nerves a lot. But this movie made me appreciate her more because Willie was the worst. Nothing about this character worked for me. The way she showed up in the show tune, the relationship between her and Indy was so forced. It made no sense. Indy had more chemistry with the Sacred Stone than he had with her. It just didn't make any sense, and it bogged down the movie so much because she was this selfish, surface level character, and there was no redeeming qualities about her at all. It didn't make any sense why Indy would even want to date her, kiss her, have sex with her, any of the stuff that was going on. And they were trying so hard to make it like a love story between them while all this craziness is going on. And it did not connect for me at all. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the second time in a row that whoever writing these movies cannot write proper female characters or love interests. It's not even about the movie of its time, because around this time, there are plenty of great female characters. And these two have, Marion's better, but but Willie is just the absolute worst. She really bogged the movie down for me. And in the first film, I had an issue with it feeling like I was watching a second film in a series, and like this whole thing happened with his origin, him meeting characters, and it was never explained. And I thought with this being a prequel, we would get a little bit more. It was even worse because it introduced Short Round in this film, and as amazing and incredible as a character as he was, and how much I love him and how adorable he was, they didn't really explain why he knew Indy, why he was driving cars, why he was putting himself in danger for Indy at all. He was just there, and we were just like, yeah, there's a relationship. And the whole movie just felt like I should have saw that origin. I should have saw. So it's just weird how they just throw us into the adventure and those little things are not explained. So it's just those connections, even though they have the actors have good chemistry on like while I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why is this kid here in the first place? Like, she even asked him and he didn't really give a clear explanation. So that really bogged me down in terms of like not getting really a real source of why Indiana Jones is the way he is and why he does what he does. He's kind of just like, here's his adventures with no origin in sight. So that, I guess that's just something I'm going to accept with this series, but it really just is something that rubs me the wrong way. Let me get to my verdict. So while Temple of Doom is a really fun film, has lovable characters, some dark themes, chemistry to the two leads, which I think is Short Round and Indy, is fantastic, with some really great thrilling and fun action that I really enjoy, that I'll just go back and watch, especially the minecart sequence. I think that the thin plot, the villains weren't that interesting, and Willie really bogged down the film for me from it being great, because especially those middle scenes there where it really focused on Indy and Willie. So with that said, I'm going to give this film a C+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? Is it your favorite movie of the series? Do you feel like it's one of the best action adventures of all time and I'm wrong? Or do you agree with my opinion? Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about my review and this film. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, live discussions, and much, much more. And catch more of my content right now.